Hello! Good morning! Let me know if you guys can hear me alright. I had to adjust my mic a little bit for a video call. Yes, hello! Hi, Tryhard! So I put it to a vote in the Discord, and it was a tie. Oh, thank you. So today we're gonna do Cat Girls, and tomorrow I will draw something new. It'll probably either be emotes for Tryhard stream. Oh, I have nothing on screen right now. You're right. Give me one sec. Okay, it's fixed now. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, so tomorrow it'll probably either be Tryhard's emotes, or Demon Slayer fan art, or Stardew Valley fan art, because I brought up playing Stardew Valley and no one wants to see my farm! So I will make you see it by drawing it. Fan art! Okay, but today we're coloring Cat Girls. And I need a little bit of help because I have not named her yet. I was thinking about doing something kind of like in French. And then you guys can hear me terribly pronounce French. And I can lose any French fans I may have had. All in one fell swoop. Yes, right now we're starting with base colors, which is a little boring. I like to put this background, this like colored blurb on the background because it makes it easier for me to see the different colors. It's very neutral. It's not like this bright, harsh white. Okay, we're gonna do skin base first. Well, for starters, I totally forgot to start hitting record, so I'm just gonna do that really quick. For speed paints. Anyway, where have I been? I was only gone for like a week. I got a new job, which is super cool. I really like it. Doing data entry and office admin and receptionist like position, like all rolled into one. And so far my coworkers are really great and really nice, really genuine people. I really enjoy talking to and hanging out with them. They're very nerdy and I love it, because that's my kind of people. But yeah. How have you been, Tryhard? Oh, thank you. I know it's super weird, but I've always kind of wanted to work a receptionist job. I don't know, I like folders and I like filing things and I like scheduling stuff. I like planners. I'm terrible at consistently using them. Like the planner that I currently use is just a notebook full of grid paper that I got for $1. Just doing your thing. So building and taking apart things in space, right? That's most of what I know you like to play is space stuff. And I need to do more fan art for Hard Space Shipbreaker. Like I have fan art plans for it. You know, shit, I should have fucking done that. Anyway, I'll do that next time. I don't play that game very much. Okay, I don't ever play that game at all. But I really like the graphics and I really like the story that they put into it and how much effort. And I've made a little bit of fan art for it. And soon I will make more. But I also need to work on my Patreon stuff for this month. Because I am woefully behind. I'm woefully behind on a lot of things. It's Christmas. Do I still need to get my Christmas shopping done? Yes. Oh, Tryhard, you're setting up that ARC server. Oh, I should also probably like put a link to your stream when you show up. I'm sorry that I haven't been doing that. Give me a sec. Hit save really quick. Yes, I know we can set up shoutouts another time, but like, let me I've already started doing it. Ta-da! Okay. But thank you for the support. Oh no! It didn't put it into, hang on. It posted it just to YouTube and it did not put it in the chat for Twitch. But now it should be in the chat. We can set up shoutouts and then I can show your nerdy clips on my stream and it won't just be me suffering. It's you. I'm really happy with how this cat girl is turning out, by the way. She's really cute. I've been looking into like getting prints done and sticker designs and stuff, and the cat girls are definitely going to be some. Am I planning out my next cat girl already? Yes. Because she's got to have friends, right? Also, she doesn't have a name. I think I already talked about it on stream, but we really need to name her. You are bad at naming things, that's fair. I looked up, because Dozman said we should name her Among Us. And I thought about it. And I even looked up like what Among Us is in French, and it's not a word I can pronounce. Honestly, when I look at a French word, I'm like torn between my German understanding of pronouncing every letter there is and the understanding that French likes to put in letters that it likes to make like a 3-letter sounding word into like a 9-letter word because half of them are silent. Oh god, I hate it. You can make fun of English as much as you want, because English is terrible. But I also think along with that, French is just as bad. Okay, American English is terrible. I know that like a lot of other versions of English, like the kind that they use in other countries, usually has a lot less slang. And that American English is considered to be one of the hardest versions of English to learn because we use so much slang and because we have so many different dialects. Like, we have dialects within our dialects. It's ridiculous. Really? I just usually don't pronounce the T's. My brain's just like, any T you see in French does not exist. It is a lie. Ghost letter. Okay. Don't pronounce the last letter. Okay. Yeah, when I was very young and learning how to read, I remember I read, like this book about, ballet dancers. And I had never seen the word ballet spelled out before. So as a kid, there was a T, and I was like, ballet. And my mom was like, no, it's ballet. And I got really angry about it. Like, why would they put a T in the word if you don't pronounce the T? And that's just French, sweetie. That's just how it's pronounced. So for like almost a full year, I would just very angrily read that book because it was like a required reading book or some shit. And I would pronounce the T. To a point where I think my teacher thought I was a little dumb. Where I was like, ballet. It's ballet. Ballet. There's a T. I'm gonna pronounce it. Which, looking back, might have been one of the most American things I could have done as a small child. I'm like, no. Your language must adhere to my language's rules. I think eventually I did give up. I was just like, it's not gonna change. Me as a tiny child, I'm not gonna change an entire language. It's one of the few times my stubbornness gave out and I lost. Never again. But how are you doing, Gecko? It's nice to see you. And I saw you kind of seeing you, we're talking, but I kind of saw you on Wednesday. It was great, by the way. That was a really fun D&D session. I had fun. I tried to play well. I think we should do tail next. Okay. Did you have fun? I know that DMing isn't always the most fun thing. This is just like, oh no wait, this is not just straight up white. That's good. Okay, let's make it a little less straight up white. And now I want it to also be a little, no, a little pink, a little bit of pink. Cool. But I hope your week has been good. It's almost Christmas and that's still freaking me out. Am I gonna do some last minute Christmas shopping? Possibly. Because in my brain, Christmas was still like 2 weeks away. Am I happy with how the color of this tail is turning out? Nope. So let's just... Whoop. Okay, that's fair. I think the main reason I thought D&D was cool as a kid was because on Fridays you and your friends would play and I wasn't allowed to play. So in my mind as a child, that immediately made it like the cool kids table because I wasn't allowed to sit at it. Oh my god. Tryhard and I were talking about it. You did really awesome voices for it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just like the DMs I've had, but they don't usually try to do voices, but that was impressive. That was awesome. Genuinely fantastic at doing voices. And I hope that I don't have as many, yeah. I believe it. What got you into D&D? I wasn't allowed to play it, so I had to start. Oh god. What sucked was I had friends who played D&D in high school, and I really wanted to play in high school, but all of my friends who played in high school were guys, and they're like, well, you're a girl, and the other people we play with aren't really good around girls. I was like, well, maybe you should hang out with less sucky people, and they're like, yeah, but that's who we've got. So I could not play until college. And then I played in college and I realized why some groups are just bad. That's okay. And I had friends who were girls who would want to play D&D, but they were like a couple years older than me, and in my mind they were much cooler than I was, so I was too scared to like ask to join. They were not cooler than me. Looking back now, I'm like, wow, I should have just fucking asked. But that's okay. Instead, my friends and I got together and we watched Rubber in the basement. Its own kind of fun game. That's like this weird thing. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but like there's this definitely weird thing when you're like younger in high school, like up until you're a junior, you're like, oh, anyone who's older than me is I love it so much. It's super huge in Germany still, which is amazing to me. Like they put out posters, it's regularly shown in theaters, and it's amazing. Anyway, I will love that movie until I die. I will talk about it till my last breath. On my death, it will play at my funeral on loop. I don't know, from like up until like you're a junior in high school, it's like anyone who's even a little bit older than you is by default very cool, like so much cooler, as long as they're not like, as long as they're under the age of, I want to say like 40 to 45, because then it's just like, then they're cool. They're not old enough to be an adult. They're cool. And then as soon as you hit to like junior in high school, you have a little bit of that of anyone who's in college, but everyone else who's like a little bit younger than you is a baby. That's what it felt like. And now that I've like done high school, I've done the whole college thing, and now that I'm in the quote unquote adult world, it's not true. Like, if you live a certain number of years, that does not default make you cooler than everyone else ever. I forgot to color this part of her skin. Like, I have met people who are much older than me, who, like, my 17-year-old brother has more maturity than them. And they had to have jobs and pay bills, and they were like, you're a functioning member of society. And I'm like, this person is not. I think that's the biggest thing you learn in adulthood, is that everyone is still basically a child pretending to also be an adult. But also, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just my experience from the people I've met, and there are very adultier adults out there. The general consensus I know of is that you're a child just pretending until, and I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is people mature at their own paces, and no one can say you're an adult just because you hit a number of years. I'm being very opinionated yet very flip-floppy today. I've had a little bit of coffee, and I'm still very tired. I guess it's fair. I don't know. When I was very young, I was told I was very mature for my age. And I thought that was really cool when I was younger. Like, I had a very hard time. It just meant I had a very hard time interacting with people who were my own age, and I still have a hard of a time with that. Like, most of my friends are older than me, and they've always been older than me, possibly because I've just always kind of been surrounded by people who are older than me. But then I meet someone who is much older than me, and I'm like, why are you friends with me? Like, you're 10 years older than me, and you still want to go get blackout trashed every night and puke on the lawn. I don't want to do that every night. Like, I had a roommate like that. We figured out he was probably an alcoholic. Anyways. Yeah, it's... People mature at their own rates and their own paces, and some people never do. That's another thing I've learned is I've seen grown adults, especially because on the internet, people can record you at all times whenever. So they're not recording you in your best, most mature moments. They're recording you at your worst. And it just reinforces the idea that to be an adult, quote unquote, you don't have to, you can live in a bubble, and it's dumb and it's ridiculous and I hate it. Oh, I hate it. I hate that you can be mad and angry and abusive on the phone and get almost whatever you want from a company. Oh, it makes me so angry. And I've worked in customer service a lot. Like, there have been so many times when I'm just like, I worked for a company that when I got hired, they were like, we're in the top 5 of this industry in the nation. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. Like, they can afford to lose a couple customers who are just awful, right? Especially because a lot of they had a lot of government accounts, and they were the government standard for this specific like necessary item for a building. And like, I had a coworker who worked with mostly government accounts, and they would just verbally abuse him all the time. Not the job, but oh, I've been drawing on the skin base this entire time. It's on the wrong layer. Shit. But these people in the government would just verbally abuse this guy all the time, to a point where he was just kind of used to it, and he was like, it's fine, it's fine. And I felt so bad. I was like, you're so nice. Do not put up with this bullshit. No. And they would give stuff away for free all the time just because someone threw up a big enough fuss. And I was like, this just teaches people that it's okay to be an asshole and that you can still get what you want, and that's not okay. I've worked in customer service and call centers a lot. And to be honest, there have been times when I've had to make calls to call centers and I've just been given the runaround, and I will get angry and I will get very stern and I will pull out my mom voice. Excuse me. So sorry. I don't know where that came from. I will pull out my mom voice and I will essentially be like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to a manager. I will not make formal complaints against someone. I think I've only done that once or twice in my entire life. But I will definitely be like, well, this is what I was told by this person. This is what I was told by this person. I won't name names, but I'll be like, I called at this time, at this time, at this time. I talked to like a woman this time. I talked to a young man this time. I talked to blah, 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 blah. And this is what I was told. This is what I was promised. This is not what is not is happening. And I will try to be very stern about it, but not rude. And I won't. The only time I've ever cussed at a customer service person over the phone is when I've been on hold for over an hour and I am just so tired, and I've never been like fuck you. I've just been like Jesus fucking Christ, like very quietly just off of the phone, because they will hang up on you if you cuss, and that is valid. As someone who has worked customer service over the phone, if somebody swore at me, I would usually just hang up. At one of my customer service jobs, they were like, you have to let them know you're going to hang up, and I'm like, I work third shift. If they cuss at me because their GPS is not working, because they did not charge it, because they didn't know that anything that doesn't plug into a wall socket has a battery that needs to be charged, I'm gonna hang up on them. And I will be the only one that they can call back at. I had people who were really upset about that. But then, like, when I worked at a call center where we answered for a lot of doctors' lines, and I would be answering at 3 in the morning, and I'm not the emergency line, but these people would be calling with emergencies and they need to talk to their doctor as soon as possible, and they'd cuss a little bit. You know what? That's fine. Get mad at me. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little pissed about it because you were a dick, but as long as you're not overly rude, you're freaking out. Yeah, I will absolutely like take that a little bit of verbal abuse so that you can feel a little calmer when your doctor calls you. But you should not just randomly cuss at people over the phone. I truly hate to be like, people in this generation and make generalizations like that. But there has been a noticeable trend in people being ruder and having fewer manners. And maybe it's more just we're noticing it now because of the internet. Maybe that's what it is. Everything is much more viewable. You can communicate a lot more. Everything is much more connected. So you can see people at their worst over and over all the time. And that's unfair. But it's also kind of like, some people watching those videos see it and they become sad and upset about the fall of society, because to them that's what it represents. Some people see those videos and they become sad and upset, and then they act out in the same way because they're like, well, if this person's doing it, I might as well also do it because they're not getting in trouble, so I'm not going to get in trouble. And I guess that if everything is falling apart, I might as well join in too, right? Some people are awful like that. And then there are some people who see it and they feel vindicated. They're like, no, they should have acted like that. I think that person was totally in their rights to scream at the Taco Bell register girl because she didn't have time to get them a Baja Blast added to their order when they ordered 500 fucking tacos. And then they go and do it because they're like, see, I'm not as bad as that person, or yeah. This was my rant. This was my rant about how upset I am about people who treat customer service. I do my best to always be very nice to customer service people, because if you're nice to them, usually you get your shit done faster, you get your shit done nicer, or if there is legitimately nothing they can do, they will still at least try to find you someone who can do something like that. But then, if you're mean to a customer service person, sometimes they'll spit in your food. Like, I will always say thank you, please and thank you to my server, and be the nicest person ever, because I've had a food service job, and it sucks, and they deal with a lot of shitty people, but they are also holding my precious food. They determine whether or not my food comes to me warm, or if it comes to me lukewarm. They determine whether the sauce is of a good consistency, or if it's been sitting under the heat lamp and is like fucking rubber. I am not going to anger the person who's feeding me. I also always tip. Do I always tip the best? No. But I do my best, if I ever go out or if I ever use a delivery service for anything, to give a decent tip, because they're doing a thing that I don't want to do. I also feel bad whenever I go out to do anything. Anytime I've gone to a restaurant and it's super busy, or I've gotten delivery because it's super snowy out, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you have to do the thing that I'm not willing to do, but I'm willing to pay you to do it, and I wish you made a better wage. Like, I've only ever gotten mad at a delivery person, because for a while during COVID, I had to get my groceries delivered. I've only ever gotten mad at a grocery delivery person once, and it was because I had to order a new toothbrush. So I picked out a toothbrush on the website, and it was one of the vibrating mechanical toothbrushes, right? Not a super expensive one, but like one that I looked through all of the toothbrushes and I decided, I was like, all right, this toothbrush. And they're supposed to let you know if something is sold out, okay? And if they'd let me know something was sold out, I would have been fine. I would have been like, all right, can you get me just like a cheap placeholder toothbrush until I can go to the store myself or go to a different grocery store to pick it up? Instead, they bought me two mechanical toothbrushes that like totaled the value of the toothbrush that I actually wanted to get, but the batteries weren't replaceable. It was basically just like a waste of a toothbrush. It lasted like 3 months before the batteries died, and the batteries weren't replaceable, and I was just like, I feel bad because this is just trash. That was the one time when I was like, why did you do this without letting me know? The one time. I am trying to erase this one. Okay, I did it. So the skin tone is I'm actually just gonna close the skin tone right now, because these shades are just so similar that I'm having a hard time seeing when I like go outside the lines. But yeah, be nice to your customer service people, because they are essential workers, but they don't make a living wage, and everyone else is gonna treat them like shit. So don't add to that. Do not add to the cacophony of shitty people. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Sometimes, if I'm at like a place that takes tips, and like I was standing in line to like pick up like a food order once, and I knew how much I was gonna tip. I had the cash for it, and I had a little bit of extra cash because I'd like just gone to the laundromat or some shit, and I was like, all right, cool. I was gonna use it for vending machine money at work, because sometimes you need snacks. And this woman in front of me was being a total bitch for no reason and yelling. And I felt really bad about this, but this place kind of closed a little bit earlier than all the other food places in the area. So like I had placed my order before they closed, but by the time the order had finished and it was like ready for me to pick up, they were like about to start closing. And this woman was being a bitch right before it was supposed to be closing. And I felt so bad. And she did not tip at all because they had like a little cash thing in front. So I gave them an extra tip. Because of... Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh my god. Those are great names. I felt so bad for these people who had to put up with this woman's bullshit that I tipped extra because I was like, I'm so sorry. Because it was like the only way I could think of to make up for it. I was like, I don't have a lot of cash, but take it all. Okay. Late Lolo or Le Lo. Le Lo Lo. Le Lolo. And I talk about people being shitty to customer service people all the time. It does make the good people stand out a lot more. Like when I worked in food service, we had some very friendly customers, and a lot of them were regulars, and they were super nice and really great. And they were truly a joy. Like they would show up and we'd be like, oh, you're here. You're so nice to us. I'll cook your pizza however you want. Yeah. Lelo. So is it Lelo or is it Lelolo? Or is it Late-lo? Because I'm not going to pronounce French. I like the French slang for boobs. Lelo or Lolo. That is terrible. Oh my god. Lolo is just Lolo. Okay. Le Lolo. I like that. That's fantastic. Thank you. That is the big choice right now. That is the best contender. Cause I tried to look up like the French word for like pink because I thought it was gonna be cute. It was just rose. I was like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. Why did I not expect that? I think the German word for pink is just light red, but I can't quite remember. So I've been enjoying this nicer weather we've been having. I've been tentatively enjoying it. Every time I look outside, I'm like, oh, this is so nice. The world isn't so bad. And then I remember it's December. And I live in the northern area of the United States, very close to Canada. So it should not be like 60 degrees right now. I go outside, like I have to go get the mail at work. That's part of my job duties. And I go out at like 2 o'clock in a sweater, and usually I'm not that cold, and I'm like, this is bad. I woke up and we had a little bit of snow outside, like a sprinkling of it on the ground. But then when like the big issues about global warming and climate change come up, it feels almost overwhelming and too big of an issue for like what I'd be able to help with. I don't know, there are very small things that I could do, but come on guys, let's not place all of the fault on the individual when a lot of it is the corporations. Okay, this is an Amazon hosted site, I should stop. Please don't take down my Twitch stream because I hate capitalism. I just want to be an artist who sits in a hole in the ground and draws pictures. But unfortunately, in the modern society, we are not allowed to do that. That would be a little bit of my dream. If I could just be a hermit and come out like 3 times a year to let people know I'm not dead. And that's my entire art career. I'm just like, hi guys, I'm still alive. Return. There was a very famous artist who was like that, and it makes me very happy because people were like, oh, that's not something artists actually do. They're all social. They're not. That's a very modern thing of artists being social. I can't remember his name now, but he created pointillism. He literally created a mathematic formula on how many like dots per square inch he needed to put to create an image, and he like did ratios based on colored and adjusted them to create like the different feelings and like color theory. He's really famous for that painting of the people in France next to the at the park in the river, and it's all just a bunch of dots. Yeah. His big thing was he was a little crazy, but not in like the I'm running around cutting off my ear and mentally ill kind of crazy like Van Gogh. He refused to leave a warehouse studio that he had like rented out. He rented out this giant warehouse like on the very edge of France, of Paris, and that's where he did all of his art, and he like rarely ever left, and he had a few friends who would literally have to drag him out sometimes just to be like, just eat something and let people know you're alive. Your family is concerned, get out. And that, I remember learning about that in high school, and I was like, that's my dream. That is my dream. Can we go back to that? And I know that the internet has created some amazing things. It's the reason why we have cat girls. But there are times when I do truly wish I could go back to just writing letters and being able, I would have much fewer rights. I don't wish I could go back to that. And the internet is integral to the way our lives are now. I sound like one of those people who's like, I was born in the wrong generation. I like certain things. Okay? I don't like the problems that constant social media and connectedness has created. I don't enjoy that I have to market myself all the time. But I also get to meet really great people and stay in touch with my family a lot easier. When things like the pandemic happened, it was much easier to make sure everyone was okay. We started like these weekly family Skype calls, which are they're a lot. I love them, and they're very fun, and I love my family. It is just a lot to devote like 2 to 3 hours of my limited weekend to it, and I understand that. But also, like, as much as I'm like, oh no, I can't, I have to rework my entire schedule around the family Skype call, by the time I get on the family Skype call, I'm like, this is great. I would entirely always want to rework. I would always rather rework my schedule to try to make it to the family Skype call rather than not have it and not be able to talk to people. Family is very important to me. It makes me happy. It helps that my family is really cool. I think they're cool. Now I'm getting sappy. How dare I have feelings? Let's talk more about cat girls. The greatest contribution the internet has made to society is cat girls. That's not true. That sounds awful. I teeter between the line of sounding like a total weeb who's obsessed with cat girls and someone who just likes drawing cat girls. They're cute. They're fun. They're playful. They wear fun outfits. There's like this really weird thing in the art world where it's like you're not a real artist if you do digital art. Or you're not a real artist if you draw like cartoons or stylized stuff. And then there are people who are like, you can be a real artist doing that, but if you sell your work or like you make money off of it or go to conventions or you do social media, then you're not Just draw pictures. Draw pictures and be happy. I only know about these things because of going to art college and people being awful human beings. And it creates a lot of conflict because, like, I didn't go into the illustration program, and I was in the graphic design program. Oh, Jesus Christ, fuck that up. Very briefly. And while those are both usually very digital mediums now, they're kind of like considered to be kind of like the next steps in art, right? But the major that I ended up going with was printmaking, which is a very old art form. And that's considered kind of like higher art. Like, it's considered in certain groups, it's considered to be a more professional type of fine art, like more respectable. There we go. But it's also weirdly like both certain parts of it are harder, but it is also much easier than doing a lot of digital art. Digital art has a lot of different aspects to it. But then digital art you can take anywhere and kind of like work with any tool in your arsenal. And it has a much steeper learning curve. Printmaking is just kind of like you learn the basic skills and then you just go ham at it. It helps if you know how to draw to start, but it's not necessary. And I think that's really dumb about the art world. Okay. Let's do the eyes next. So if you all have noticed, I'm gonna go over here. I don't do straight white. I don't do straight black. I kind of, ooh, that's way too blue. It's mostly more of like an off-white or an off, just slightly off black. Because if you do straight white and straight black, except my line art is straight black, but I usually color that, it can make it very hard to see between your tints and shades for the different colors that you have, and it's also really harsh on the eyes. So people won't want to look at your artwork. And if you have like a very deep shadow or a very bright highlight to help kind of pull the piece together, well, if you've got very bright whites and black and the absolute like darkest blacks possible in all the other spaces, nobody's gonna be drawn to your highlights or your shadows. I always worry that I'm getting like way too opinionated on Twitch, and then I'm like, you know what, if you don't like it, leave. And that's how I feel about that. Trying a new coffee creamer. It's pretty good. I should not have done that. Okay. And now we can turn the skin back on. And I'm gonna make her eyes like a light pink color. Let's go over to this pink. I want it to be a little bit. Ah, yes. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna use that same pink for her ears. So I'm gonna change this to tail slash hair base. And then underneath that is where I'm gonna put the pink for the ears so that I don't lose like this fade that I've created. There we go. I also worry that I talk too much, but this is literally my stream. What are you guys gonna listen to if I'm not talking? The lo-fi music? Nonsense. Hopefully I didn't. Yes! Look at how nice that fades. It's almost like a real cat ear. You prefer the streamer? My voice is not too grating, which was weird. I've had people say that. At one of the jobs I worked in a factory, and I try to be very friendly at work. I'm not usually a very big people person, but I try to be very friendly at work. And we had to do every hour we had to do quality checks on like the parts on the lines that were next to us, right? We called them buddy checks. And our supervisor, floor guy, for that shift was like a little bit of a dick about it. And he'd be like, well, people are forgetting to do them. We were not forgetting to do them. We were just understaffed and always busy. Anyway, so he asked me, because I was the friendliest and perkiest person, to go on the loudspeaker every hour and do, and remind people to do quality checks. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was super anxious about it, because I am not good in front of people or crowds. Like, the only reason why I'm really able to do streaming very well right now is because I don't have a camera up. That takes a little bit of pressure off because you don't have to see the weird faces I make. But I have a lot of social anxiety. But I was like, no, this is good. This will be good for me. This will help me branch out and help overcome my social anxiety, right? Great fucking plan. And it worked for a little bit. And then this like 70-year-old woman who worked in quality check, she wasn't even in my department, like hunted me down and found me and bitched me out for how annoying my voice was and how I needed to shut up and how I had to stop doing it. And I was like, I didn't ask to do this, you fucking bitch. So for like a year, I was super anxious that my voice was really annoying. And now you guys get to hear about that. Hello! It just kind of weirded me out. I was like, you're more adult than I am. Ooh. Why are you acting like a child? You're literally like 6th grade recess bullying me about how my voice sounds on things that I cannot control. Go fuck yourself. Now that I've finished venting, I'm trying to think of like more interesting things to think of. Most of my stories involve people vomiting and bodily fluids, and I don't think people want to hear about that at noon on a Saturday. Okay, I can't do that. Sometimes when I am drawing by myself, I'll just start humming. And what I've been humming the most lately has been the Beatles song. But I can't do that on Twitch because I will get into trouble and they'll take my channel down, or I'll get like a copyright strike against me because they're like, how dare you understand pop culture and absent-mindedly hum. That is the actual tune to the Yellow Submarine. Like, I should stop. It's a very iconic song. They would notice. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And I really want to rewatch it as an adult. Because I'm pretty sure it'll hold up, but I feel like it'll hold up in a different way. Oh no, this is a different shade of gray than the one I was using originally. I feel like it will hold up, but I also feel like it will hold up in a very different way, where as a kid, I did not know about the prevalent drug use in the Beatles, and as an adult, I do. I feel like some scenes will be very different. One of my little cousins so this started where she really liked Scooby-Doo. So her and my aunt, her mother, were watching a lot of Scooby-Doo, and they found a Scooby-Doo movie that featured Kiss, like the band, which was awesome. But so that became her favorite Scooby-Doo movie for a little while. And then, she watched like the Yellow Submarine because I think it was like recommended on like Disney Plus or something, if that's where it is, or whatever streaming service they were using. And so now she really loves the Yellow Submarine and the Beatles, and I think it's really cute that she's going on like this tiny little like musical journey. And it's like, oh, we've all been there. This is so cute. I love it. But at the same time, I never realized, I guess I kind of forgot that when you were that small, like that young, and something is brand new to you, you also assume it is brand new to everyone else. So she'll be like, have you heard of this movie? We're like, yes, we have. But it's adorable, and I love it. Okay. I should probably, like, save this. Will I? Nope. If you'll notice when I'm coloring, I tend to do, like, the, almost from, like the back up. So the skin is like the layer that I usually use for the base because everything is on top of the skin. And then I did the hair and the tail because it's also underneath everything. And then I did the eyes and the pink of the ears. I would have probably done the pink of the ears first if I had been thinking about it, but because they're kind of like objects that don't interact with a lot of other pieces of this. And then I did the choker because, again, you can see that it just really interacts with the skin, which is already colored. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the base part of the sweatshirt, so the gray part, and then I will do the bow, and then I will do the bell. So that's how I do coloring, or base layer coloring. And for the smaller shapes, I'll just outline and then color it in. For the big ones, I will outline and then I'll use the fill tool like I have been doing. Oh, by the way, I'm going to stream until 3 today because I'm only doing one stream today, so I thought I'd go a little bit longer. And also I started a little bit later, so. I've got stuff I have to do later today. If I have time, maybe I will do a stream later tonight. Who knows? But probably not. And the last thing that I will do will be like the socks because they are the most prevalent and they're on top. know there are probably more efficient and better ways that other people will do digital art to like fill in, and I've seen some of those, but this is the way that I like to do it. I'm still relatively new to digital art. I'm still not as comfortable with it as I am with like printmaking or etching or watercolor. So I just kind of go at my own pace and do my own thing and see what works for me. And that's another big thing that you learn, especially like in art school, in your foundation classes. They're like, you have to use this program and you'll have to do it this way. No, you don't. You just have to get an end product that you're happy with. Doesn't matter if you use 3 different programs, and as long as the file works for what you want it to work with. If you want to draw at 72 DPI, sure, go for it. You won't be able to print it, but that works for if you only want to do digital art and only do things online. Okay. If you want to print, it has to be 300 DPI. Okay. And as long as you're happy with the end result, fine. If you want to use Instagram filters, sure, go for it. Probably shouldn't, but if that's what you want to do and that is what works for you, go for it. That's something I really hated about art school is they were very much like, you have to do it exactly our way. And I was like, I don't think I want to. I don't think I'm going to. Bye-bye. Which is not the best way to learn. Because I understand that a good teacher will do that in the foundations just so that you have a basis, because they assume you know nothing. Whoops. Which is fair. But when you get to like the more advanced classes, it's really dumb for them to do that. Oh my god. That's okay! You can know nothing, and you can still look at tutorials and hang out and just try and have a good time. Literally just draw stick figures if you want. A lot of the artists you really love, they started from nothing, they just started earlier. That's another bitchy thing that I hate about learning a new medium, I'm not gonna lie, is you start knowing nothing, and that's really hard. But you're not used to knowing nothing. Because most of the time you can like base your knowledge off of other things, or you can build up from other things that you know. But like if you're going from traditional to digital art, it's like, oh fuck, what? I know nothing. But how are you doing, Fixer? It's nice to see you. Okay. I'm using a lot of the same colors because she's a very simple character, and I want to keep her color palette very simple. Oh no! Sleepy and hungry. Well, I think the best solution is to eat and then decide if the sleepy was because you were hungry, and if not, take a nap. That's usually how I go about things. I like try to take care of one and see if the other one also goes away. There you go. Already solving the problem. I do worry a little bit because usually instead of picking like an actual color palette, I will just in my brain decide on colors that I decide look good together, and then I will experiment a little bit. And I know that if I want to make like an actual like fine art piece and be successful with my artwork. I should probably use actual color palettes. But it was time to make those. I should. I will another time. Oh, I forgot part of the sweatshirt. Boop, boop. But how's your day been going, Fixer? It has been a little bit. This isn't quite hentai. This is pinup. I think hentai you usually actually have to show the usually censored bits, right? Sometimes I do fine art. Right now I'm definitely not. New job and I really like it so far, but that's why I couldn't stream last weekend, just because I was so busy. And yeah, just getting ready for the holiday. Trying to think if I've done anything like huge. I don't think so. I think I have just got a killer migraine yesterday that like took me out for the entire day. That was not fun. But other than that, things have been good. Did I do this wrong? No. Come on. Haven't been super exciting, which I guess is kind of nice. Okay. Side garter. I guess that's fair. I have a little bit of that anyways, and I have been told I feel very old. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm like in my mid-30s already, and I'm only in my mid-20s. I should probably start actually exercising again. But yeah, I had a migraine all day yesterday, so I basically just laid in bed and switched between being awake and being in pain and sleeping. Ate a little bit of food, which was good. Sometimes my migraines will like get so bad that I can't eat or else I will throw up. And I don't get migraines very often, so it's usually just power through. That's not even that old. That's not bad. Don't even. Don't even. A man, boy, human. I mean, nah. I just like to I don't know. I was a very sick kid, so I was at home sick a lot of the time. So I got used to like knowing how sick is sick enough to be taken care of, but I also hate when people take care of me. I feel so bad. If I'm really sick, like you can tell because I will be close to tears if anyone does anything nice to me ever. Like I've had roommates try and like make sure that I'm okay when I'm sick, and they'll like bring me food and I will start to just cry. I'm like, you're so nice. Thank you. And then I can't do anything because I feel sick. I really hate feeling sick because I'm not, especially if it's like the kind of sick where you don't feel that bad when you're sitting down, but as soon as you get up, you feel really dizzy and ill and like you can't move. Because my brain's like, I feel fine. But as soon as I try to do anything other than like watch Netflix, my brain will just short circuit. And I hate it. I get super restless because I'm a person who likes to go and do. Aww. I'm sorry, that does kind of suck. I like doing the taking care of. My brother was not a very sick kid. So he was always like he was very energetic. But when oh! Thank you, Fixer! I forgot I had a tip button. Thank you! You know what? Next stream, which will probably be tomorrow, if you show up and you have a request, as long as it is Twitch friendly, I will draw it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. But yeah, my brother was not super sick as a kid, but when he would get sick, it would come with no warning. At like 3 in the morning, he would just wake up and just throw up. Aw. Well, if you change your mind, just let me know. You've got one in the bank. And I do remember that because when I would get sick, it would start really slow. Like I'd start feeling a little under the weather, and then it would hit me really hard. My brother, he would be perfectly fine, and then my parents would just wake up to hearing him just throw up everywhere. And since I was the oldest, that was a little jarring for them. They were like, and then the next day he would be like almost fine. He'd either be really sick or he'd be basically fine. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. That is really awful. I mean, okay, so it's very awful for a child to have to go through that. But as someone who has seen other people like find out that they have chronic conditions very later in life, it is a little better to find out when you are younger and your brain when you're a kid is much more elastic. You're able to adapt to that, and your body's able to heal a lot better and a lot faster usually than if you find out even in just your mid-20s. So it's kind of good you found out early, but it's also awful. I'm really sorry you ever had to go through that. I thankfully did not have any super I never had to have any major surgeries. I had a very weak immune system, so I would just get sick very easily. And I remember once when I think I was in like the 2nd grade and I was out sick for like 2 straight weeks. I remember thinking like, this doesn't happen to everyone else. But this happens to me every year. Like every cold or flu season, I would get all my shots, but I would still end up getting really sick for 2 to 3 weeks and be out of school. And it was like that for years until I was like, I want to say 13 or 14. So it was more just kind of like, I just was a weak child. Aw, thank you. I hope redneck soup contains moonshine. That's what I really hope it is. I hope it's like redneck soup and it's like moonshine and Fago. That'll make you feel better. Oh goodness. Okay, so this is a story my grandma has told me. Tomato soup and painkillers. You know what? That works. That works too. So my father was her first child, right? And she had him when she was like 20, because that was the time. And when he was about 1 year old, he got I don't want to say cholera, but it's like when the babies get really sick and they have a lot of phlegm in their throat and they can't breathe very easily. What is that? Anyway, like when you're, yeah, cool. Okay, he had that. So, and he would just stay up just because it hurts and it makes the kid hard to breathe and they cough a lot, and he would just stay up crying and crying and crying and screaming and coughing and wheezing, and she had no idea what to do, right? She had taken care of like her younger siblings because she was like the second oldest in a family of 6 kids, but like she'd never been a parent before, so she, for some reason, she asked her brothers who were like who had been in the Navy, but who did not have kids of their own because she was the second oldest. So she asked them for some reason, and they were like, yeah, give him a little bit of whiskey and honey, like in a spoon, like mix it up and then put it in a spoonful of whiskey and honey. And she was like, all right, I'll do that. So she gave that to my dad, and he's like 1 year old, and she said that he just immediately started vomiting. He just immediately started throwing up. And wait, where did it go? There we go. He threw up for like a good couple of hours, like sick all night still. But then he wasn't sick anymore. Like she said that he didn't get sick for the rest of the year, but she would never do it again, and she never took like advice from her brothers on cures for her child ever again. She was just like, never ever again. But then my grandma also told me about when she went to school, when she was in like the 2nd or 3rd grade. She had like a cold, or like I want to say like she might have had like strep throat, or I've never tried whiskey and honey. I'm tempted to because I hear it works great, but I've never tried it. So her mom sent her to school. My great grandmother sent her to school with like medicinal whiskey, which was a thing that back in like the early 50s. Like mid to late 50s actually. I'm sorry. That was a thing. You would send your kid to school with medicine, and you'd give it to the nurse, and the nurse would like administer it whenever the kid needed it. So my grandma, apparently, because she would cough and they'd send her to the nurse, and the nurse would give her some of the whiskey, and she was just supposed to take a sip. Well, she's like in 2nd or 3rd grade. So she walked home the first day drunk. And her mom was like, had to call the nurse. She's like, why is my daughter drunk? So the nurse had to start monitoring my grandmother's sips for when she came in coughing and was sick, to make sure she didn't drink too much. And I thought that was hilarious. My grandma thinks it's a funny story. When I didn't have a school nurse. I thought school nurses is... Yeah, so I understand like the idea behind it. It does make sense. I've just never tried it for myself. I usually go with like teas or just regular, just straight painkillers. And the tea usually has honey in it. I don't usually have whiskey in the house. Usually it's just vodka. I don't know if vodka would work the same way. Probably because it's just alcohol. You're also supposed to be really careful about giving kids honey, like before they reach a certain age. I think before they reach like 1 year or older, you're supposed to talk to a doctor about it. I can't 100% remember why, but I do remember it being like you're supposed to talk to your doctor about it, and you are supposed to once they reach past 1 or 2, you can get like, it's fine, you can give them like a full tablespoon. Also, I don't know if you guys have ever had just straight. No, they cannot. They're just lightweight. No. I don't know if you've ever had just a straight spoonful of like organic honey, but I've done that. It's hard to take, especially when you're younger, and because kids have more taste buds. It is very overwhelming to just have an entire spoonful of honey, because it'll coat your mouth, it'll coat your throat, and then you're like gagging a little bit. And it has a very strong taste, and it does not taste like regular sweeteners, because it's not super sweet in like very high doses. Like it is, but it's also like a thick musky sweet. Does that make sense? A thick musky sweetness. Like honey is its own flavor that we use to describe other flavors. I wonder if they make like honey flavored coffee creamer. Probably. I wonder if that would actually be good in like coffee. Probably not. I could try it, but it probably would not be good. Yeah. Usually if I start to feel like a little sick, I'll do there are like certain teas that I found that actually like make me feel better and do work to help boost your immune system a little bit, and I'll do that with honey. And I'll drink that a few times. And usually that's enough. Like if I catch it early enough, like that'll help me enough to where I don't get very sick, and I don't need like to take as many medications, or at least like I'm not bedridden. Also, it's just like comforting, and I'll do that with honey. Oh god, I remember when I was in high school, it was my sophomore year of high school. I had asked out the guy I had a huge crush on to go to homecoming with me, and he said yes, right? And it was also around that time of year when kids get sick. And I started getting sick, and I was like, oh no, no, please don't do this to me now. I can't get sick now, right? Freaking out a little bit. So what I did, it was super gross. What I did for the entire week before homecoming, we had this huge thermos, and in the morning I would fill up this thermos. I would fill up this thermos with tea, and before leaving for school, I would drink as much of it as possible, and then I would top it off with orange juice. So I would have this super gross, like, herbal tea, honey, orange juice combination in a thermos that I carried around, and I would just drink that, because it was a thermos that like, you could use it as a cup, or you could also drink from, like, the spout. And I drank that for the entire day. It was so gross. I remember just being like miserable, but also like, no, I need this. I need to go to this dance. And then I'd get home and I would drink like a regular glass of orange juice. Oh, it was so gross. And I would then I would drink like 2 or 3 more cups of the tea. Like I think I went through like 2 boxes of this tea my mom had gotten in a week. And I ended up not getting sick. Like I started to, like I had cold symptoms, and then I was well enough. Oh, I also gargled salt water, which is something you're supposed to do if your throat hurts, right? So I did that, gargled salt water every night for 5 minutes straight, and then drank my nasty tea, orange juice mixture every day, and I ended up like recovering in like 5 days. I really wanted to go to the dance, so I went to the dance. It was not a good time, but in my high school sophomore mind, it was totally worth it. I think that was the fastest I've ever recovered from a cold in my life. 5 days. I was like, I did it. I'm amazing. Yep. I remember on like that Friday, I was feeling well enough that I was like, maybe I don't need to drink the orange juice tea concoction. And I did it anyway because I was like, what if? Because I've had colds where like you start to feel better and then you just get sicker. And it sucks. And I had to make sure that that wouldn't happen. Yeah, you know what? That's the dream. I was talking about it earlier. To just be a hermit. Draw pictures and be a hermit. You know, I already had a great... Why did I do this to myself? I don't know if I could do it okay, I do know I could do it 100% all the time. I also know it would not be good for my mental health. So I would need to like I would need to go outside to have social connection once in a while. Or I'll just have a bunch of plants. And I'll talk to my plants and I'll be that crazy plant lady. I do that already. I only have 9 plants. I used to have like 12. Well, yeah, but also some plants, I don't know. I live in a more temperate area, but there are still some plants that will not grow outdoors here. So I need indoor plants. I need indoor and outdoor plants. I need a sunroom, like one of those enclosed big sunrooms. Yes. I don't need a lot of space, but I do need enough space for my plants. Because I had like no real interest in I had a small garden when I was in high school. Like I begged my mom, because my mom's super into gardening and plants. Yeah. I would hide from the world. But yes, most people suck. My mom is huge into gardening. And so of course, as a kid and teenager, I was surrounded by plants, but I did not appreciate it. Because I was just like, no, it's just plants. It's what my mom does. I don't need plants, right? Because I was surrounded by them all the time, from the smallest time I could remember. And I got to college, and for my first year of college, I had no plants. I had none. Because it just wasn't something that occurred to me, right? I was just like, this is my dorm room. I have a goldfish. Life is good, right? Winter comes and goes. It lasts like 9-10 months, as it does here in the north. And I'm feeling like extra sad and extra like stressed and weirded out. And then the snow melts and I see like a little bit of grass and I like lost my mind. I am from the... Oh no! I'm from the northern Midwest of the US. But I lost it. Like I finally saw grass and I was just like, oh, these green things, it makes me so happy. And so I got plants. And then I had a bunch of plants. I had like 12 plants. And then those plants branched out into more plants. And then I got really depressed and I lived in a place with bad roommates my plants all died. It was not a good environment. And I think part of it was my mental health. I think part of it was, bad air. Like they were mainly outdoor plants and winter came and I had to bring them inside and it was just not a good space for them to live in. And they died. And now I'm finally rebuilding like, okay. Upstate New York is nice. There's like nothing there from what I hear. I'm slowly rebuilding my plant army. Slowly. Oh, that's really cool. My family is also mostly a bunch of farmers. Or, well, they used to be. So there's like kind of like a bunch of family land that's been in our family for generations, but it might get split up kind of soon among like the various cousins. Why do I keep the various cousins and stuff? But we'll see how it goes. I think it's really cool because my family has been in like the same kind of state / town for over 100 years. And I did not mean to pop that up. And I think it's cool. Okay, I've got members of my family who will like raise cows for meat or dairy, which is cool. But I don't think any of us have horses. We're not a horse farm. 10 horses is a lot though. That's a lot of horses. I would say like 3 horses is still a lot of horses. I grew up in a very suburban area. So the only people I knew who had horses were farmers or very rich kids. And the rich kids usually had the horses more often. Oh, you know, I guess it's fair. I kind of want like sheep because I like knitting and crocheting and I want to be able to like do things with wool, but animals are a lot to take care of. So I'm very happy with just plants for right now. My grandmother has a new neighbor. And she lives around a bunch of farms. She does not have one, but she lives around a bunch of them. And her new neighbor is like a hobby farmer, where they've got like a bunch of chickens and ducks and a couple of goats. And they have like a field out back that they will probably do something with. But that like they're not big agriculturists. They're doing it more just because they want to live and support themselves more, which I think is cool. But also I've never heard of a hobby farmer before, so it's a little weird. Always remember to save, kids. So this is what she looks like so far. I should probably write down one of the names we came up with. We're trying to come up with names. So Fixer, if you have a name that you think would fit, go for it. Please share. I'm gonna write down the name that we are picking. One of the names that we have kind of picked out. My screen is not updating. Hmm. 'Cause fixed it. Sorry, it looked like my Mac might have been overheating for a hot minute and it wasn't updating the stream. My studio is much hotter. I'm actually running like another computer. Anyway, stream names that we have right now. Let me just go back up in chat and double check. Okay. So right now we have this French name, which is, let me just make a new layer. Whoop, okay. That is terrible. I was like, let's try the oh, that's because I didn't have the calligraphy pen. Okay. So, le lolo, which is like French for milk, and then lolo is the French slang for boobs. So, dirty joke, but making it sound cute. Thought I'd try using the calligraphy pen because she's like French and fancy. Name option 1. She's gonna be French because I felt like it. It feels right. Another name I was thinking of, I was like, well, why did I not? Yep. Rose, which is just rose, but it's also like the French word for pink. And then Chaton for her last name because that's the French word for cat. Pink cat. Okay, I'm gonna take these off the screen for right now. And continue with our drawing. Okay. I'm debating on if I should color the line art or not. Because what I could do could make her super pink. Yeah, let's make this bigger. Woo! Which could be fun. Okay, I have to stop doing that. But it also makes it a little harder to see. So maybe a darker pink then? Yes. feels almost like too much like a purple. Go with a very vibrant pink. Am I having a hard time deciding? A little bit. Because I don't usually do like one singular colored liner, but this is anime. You liked the vibrant pink and did it was a little similar to No Game No Life, but No Game No Life usually did like a bright purpley pink, I think. I think No Game No Life was almost like this more. Trying to find like a good medium between the vibrancy but also still being just dark enough that you can still like see things. I'm almost there. Okay. I think this is good. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. And then just very quietly take it out. Actually, I'm going to put it like up here. There we go. Just in case I want to go back to the black line art or I want to do like different colored line art, I can still adjust it. Because what I'm going to do now, actually, I want to make this just slightly lighter again. Give me a sec. Okay, I like this one. What I am gonna do now is I'm gonna smush everything together into one layer. Why did I color everything as separate layers if I was just gonna do this anyways? Because sometimes I do like to shade on separate layers, but because this is more anime and this is supposed to be like slightly easier coloring, I wasn't gonna do that. Actually, I should leave it separate for. Depends on how much time I want to spend coloring this. I am gonna leave it separate for a little bit so that I can do some different things with the colors. Up this to 30, this to 20, and then up this to 10. Okay. And always remember to save. Actually, what I should do is I should add a blush first before I do anything else. I'm gonna work with the same pink that I used for this, but I'm gonna make it a little bit dark. There we go. Okay. I kind of wanted to make her a little bit more pouty in this pose, but I'm thinking she just looks more like, kind of like playful curious. Do you know that when someone gets turned on, they blush differently than when they're embarrassed? They're embarrassed, the blushing tends to go on the cheeks and maybe like around the temples. When they're turned on, it's usually face, ears, and then like back of the neck, and then onto the collarbone. Like you blush more, if that makes sense. Well, technically, like anytime your face or body gets red without like contact, it's like a blush, or it's blush, right? Like it's anytime your face feels hot or a part of your body starts to feel hot for no reason, it's gonna be a little bit more red just because the blood is rushing, and that's what it is. So if you sweat when you have sex, you're blushing. Unless you're ice cold the whole time, which is terrifying. That might mean you're dead. As someone who is ginger and been ginger their entire life, my face gets red over nothing. Literally nothing. Why is your face so red? Well, did the temperature change by 2 degrees? That's why. Did I remember something slightly embarrassing that I did when I was 6? Well, that's why. Is someone else near me feeling embarrassed? Well, secondhand embarrassment also makes me blush. Like, literally everything. Am I happy? Blushing. Am I sad? Blushing. Am I angry? Blushing. There you go. What mirrored ceilings are really for. To make sure that you don't mess up your makeup during sex. I like using these layered watercolor brushes when I color in Clip Studio because it allows me to blend a lot easier than the other brushes. And I like blending. I go from the darker or more saturated parts first, and then I blend outwards. Also, anywhere, like if you're sitting, your butt's a little red because it's where the blood pools. Which is a crazy idea to me. I never thought about blood pooling until I was like in my high school health class, and our teacher was like, "Where do you think all your blood is right now?" And we were like, "I don't know, pumping?" She was like, "Yeah, but it's also in your feet and in your butt because you guys have been sitting all day." Your skin also gets a little red, kind of like with any contact it has for a long time with anything. Important things to know if you want to make a career out of drawing realistically, even for porn. I feel like there's like this weird bell curve with when you draw hentai or even just like pinups. It's if you draw really bad, but you have a good concept, people will still love it. If you draw really well and you have a bad concept, people will still love it. But if it's a bad concept and you're like mediocre at it, people are gonna be like, meh. It's just weird. It is very, you could draw stick figures and people would probably still love it. I'm adding extra blush because this is a pinup. I'm trying to accentuate some of her features. Well, you better make sure it's waterproof mascara. I'm not gonna lie, every girl I've talked to in college, like, they have like a specific, they're like, alright, if they're having a one-night stand, they have like a specific makeup routine where it's very little makeup, but it's all like waterproof or like all day wear, even if they're only technically wearing it for a couple of hours. You know, that might be a kink for some people. Maybe she's into it. I feel like it would also be really hard, like, as a guy, if you're on top, to apply mascara in a ceiling mirror, because you have to, like, tilt your head way up, unless your ceiling is, like, really close to your bed. Okay, I'm gonna fade this part out a little bit more because it should not be as red as, like, well, maybe that part could be a little as red. There you go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel left out. Okay. drop it down to like 90. Okay, let's drop it down to like 80. There we go. That's good. Okay, now I am gonna merge it with the skin base because that's what it's for. Now we can move on to shading the skin. Just forgot what I was typing for a minute. Do you ever just halfway through an action your brain will just restart and it's like, I don't remember what I was doing. Okay. Switch that to multiply. Okay. Where should the light source be? Let's make this simple and put it like here. Okay. Hyper focus. Yes, sorry. Focusing on her thighs. Wow. Sometimes, yeah. When I also should scooch my chair in more because I'm like leaning forward a lot, and that's kind of hurting my back a little bit. So I'm gonna scooch my chair in, which is what that rolling noise was, and I'm just gonna be right here. Are really important and delicious. Nom 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 nom. I'm just realizing that that sounded less like a cannibal joke and more like a sex joke, and I meant it as a cannibal joke. No, officer, I meant to sound like a cannibal. Welcome to the stream. You were thinking turkey. You know what? That's fair. That was like my second thought where I was like, cannibal joke. And then I was like, and then if I wanted to pull back, I could make a joke about turkey. No, I committed to the cannibalism. This sounds really bad. This is on the internet forever. Oh goodness, these colors look much less saturated over, like I'm looking over on the stream thing and they look much less saturated than they do on my screen. That's okay though. I have a YouTube speed paint out. Totally forgot to mention that. Should have plugged that on my YouTube channel. I had a speed paint come out last night, and there will be another one tonight at 7. And the one tonight at 7 is a speed paint of the cat girl sketches that I've done here on stream, in case you don't want to, you know, sit there and watch the whole recording of all the old live streams. And then I've also got a speed paint coming out the next night and the night after. Aww, thank you, Fixer. That's really sweet. Yeah, I have to put out the Patreon rewards for this month still, but yep, I've also got a Patreon if you guys want to join. It's $1 just to see everything early, $3 if you want to see everything early and get work in progress pics, and I try to put out like downloadables like coloring pages or phone screens, and then $5 for the not safe for work tier where I actually draw porn. Yeah, Gecko has also been a tier 3 subscriber for a while now. Thank you guys so much for that, by the way. It just makes me feel appreciated, and it makes me feel more confident in like actually doing my artwork. So I try to put out as many goodies for you guys as I can. I know I haven't done any yet this month because I've been busy with the new job, but they are coming. Yes, I haven't done anything super hardcore on there yet, but I don't want to, okay, I have plans. I am going to start like marking everything on there with like some type of like little, like almost like trigger thing, like not safe for work. On the not safe for work stuff, not to like block it, but like because there will soon be things part of the not safe for work tier that are not safe. I have plans, and I don't want to make people feel like they have to look at porn if they also want to like eventually join a sticker club that I've been planning on doing or something like that. So yes. We also voted in the Discord on what I was going to do for today's stream. It ended up being a tie between Cat Girls and drawing something brand new. So I decided on Cat Girls for today's stream, and I'll be drawing something brand new tomorrow on the next stream. I don't know if it'll be, I'm thinking maybe either like fan art of either Demon Slayer or Stardew Valley. Or working on Twitch emotes that I've had requested. Not for my channel, but for Tryhard's channel. So maybe I will set up another vote poll tonight for tomorrow's like stream. There are just so many things I want to do that I just don't have time for. Well, that's a lot on your conscience, man. Like, killing someone with your butt is a lot. I don't know. At least you've decided. At least you're like, this is how I wanna go. I don't want a Viking battle to the death. I don't want to jump off a waterfall. I don't want to go peacefully in my sleep. I want to go out the way I came in, near a woman's genitals. I don't know. I tried really hard and it fell apart at the end. Sorry. How would I want to go out? I've thought about this. Usually it's a would you rather. But wouldn't it be a little bit more impressive as an old man though? I've always done the how I'd like to die as a would you rather. Usually people are like, well, do you want to freeze or burn to death? Always burn to death. I have so many problems with the cold. I don't want to go out that way. I don't want to go out miserable and shivering. I would like to at least get one nice last, like, oh, I feel warm. Which sounds really bad. But it's what I want. Ah, shit. Fuck. Okay. That's how I would want to go out. Is warm, at least. All the other times I've really thought about it. No! Think about it, okay? If you burn to death, your nerves die really fast, okay? And yes, it takes you a long time to die by burning, but you can't feel anything, and the last thing you felt was warm. That's all I want. I just want to be warm. Honest to God, I could get to hell and they'll just be like, ah, now you burn here forever. And I'm like, can we turn the heat up? I'm chilly. Yes. But they also say that freezing to death is one of the worst ways to die possible because frostbite. Frostbite hurts. I don't want the numb. I don't want the numb and I don't want the cold. Also, you're much more conscious with hypothermia. So like, I'd start getting delirious and start feeling really warm and my brain would be like, take off your clothes. And then like the other sensible part of my brain before it died would be like, no, that's how you know you have hypothermia. So I'd keep all my clothes on and so I'd be miserable and really hot, but also really cold. And I'd just burning to death, burning to death. Also, you know, if past lives are a thing and if trauma is the way to unlock them, it's a cool way to find out that you used to be a witch. Is if you're burning to death and you're just like, I've experienced this before. This got dark. I guess the only other way that I would really like prefer dying would be besides, you know, old and surrounded by family, falling. But not like just like falling and then breaking your neck and dying, like falling from like a vast distance because your body will go into shock. So by the time you hit the ground, you're essentially already dead. And that seems nice. Like I want to fall so far that I literally like halfway down I'm just bored and I take a nap. But see, I don't think a plane would be high enough. Do you guys want to hear the story about how my mom dragged my brother off of a cliff? It's a good story. He's alive, by the way. So is she. It was a perfectly reasonably safe cliff that was about 30 feet up in the air. might be cool. It would be cool to see. It would be cool to think of. How about that? Don't actually jump out of a plane, please, guys. Not a good way. Anyway, I'm gonna tell this great story about the time I watched my mother drag my brother off of a cliff. So, I was about 11, and there's so my brother, who I will call Pendragon for this because that's like his username. He was about five or six. Because we have like a 6-year and 6-month age gap. So it was summertime, and we were on vacation in North Carolina. It is. His username is actually Professor Pendragon because he will tutor his friends in math. So it's really fun. Anyway, so we went rafting in North Carolina, and my brother and I, it was my brother, myself, my mom's mother, and my mom. And looking for tail and hair. Tail, there it is. So we were rafting. Ah, shit. Okay. Oh, hello, Pendragon. Pendragon is actually the last name of King Arthur from the King Arthur, like, stories. And that's why my brother picked it, because I used to read him King Arthur books and he loved it. Anyway, so we're rafting. And we reach, like, along this, this river that we're rafting on. We have a guide. He's a very nice person. And we get to a spot that is next to a cliff. And this river was like over 50 feet deep. Like, he said that if you could slowly get out of the raft, you would still like, you know how you can kind of ease yourself into the water, and if you're wearing a life jacket, you won't go under? You'll still go under, on certain depths. And that's how deep this river was. To a point where my brother didn't believe him. And at 5 years old, he was like, I bet I can do it. So he tried it, and he still went underwater for half a minute because he was wearing a life jacket. So it was hilarious. Anyway, so we get to this cliff. It's 30 feet up, and he's like, it's safe and deep enough here. If you guys wanted to get out, I can, like, anchor the raft, and you guys can jump off the cliff and into the river, right? Because it was a pretty still river. It was just very deep, and we all had like, really good life jackets. And my brother, being 5 and being like, I'm a tough guy, right? He's like, I'll do it. And my mom loves this kind of thing. She's a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, and she was like, I will do it. Awesome. And I felt peer pressured by my 5-year-old brother to also jump off this cliff. I can't see what that is. Let me look at the actual. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's clever. Okay. The last thing you see before you die. Anyway, so the way to get up this cliff is we had to go up this like tiny little footpath, and it's a really steep footpath. And the guide before we went up was like, okay, well, you have to jump because it's not safe to climb down. It's too steep. You can only go up. So we went up there knowing this. And we get up there, and we're in our life jackets, and we look down, and we see the raft, and the raft is tiny because we're 30 feet up. And my brother, 5 years old, looks down and realizes I could die. And he's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And our mom is like, you have to do it. You can't climb back down. You wanted to do this. And he's crying. He's like, I can't. And she's like, well, you have to. It's not safe to go down back the other way. And we stand there on this cliff for like 5 minutes while she talks him up to eventually just like, he's like, all right. Like, he's crying. He's like, okay. And we hear the guide call down, and he's like, I can count. I'll count to 3, and you can jump with your mom, right? Because there was another ledge a little bit further down. So not only did you have to, like, you couldn't just step off the cliff. You had to jump so that you would miss, like, the tiny outcropping. Because if you hit the outcropping, like, you could actually hurt yourself and die. So my mom and my brother are like, we'll jump together, it's okay. And I'm also scared shitless, but I've had to watch this in silence. So I'm just like, all right, there's definitely no other way down. I have to do this too. Oh shit. So I'm like, I'll watch you guys go down and then I will jump down, right? Thinking it'll be okay if I watch someone else do it first. Ridiculous logic, but I was a child. I was 11. So my mom gets my brother ready to jump. And aww. It's so cute. But so I'm watching my mom and my brother. They're holding hands atop this 30-foot cliff. And she's spent 5 minutes talking to him while he's crying. He's finally been like, okay. The guy gets to 3, and my mom, holding my brother's hand, jumps. My brother has decided last minute he's not gonna jump, right? So I watch my mom, like, just basically, like, hold on to my brother's hand and pull him off a cliff with her momentum. And he tries to hold on to the cliff. And so he tries not to fall. Like, he essentially almost kills both of them because my mom just managed to pull him and jump hard enough so that they would barely miss the outcropping on the bottom. And they make it down to the water, and they do it. And he's screaming and he's crying, and it's hilarious. But I'm also terrified. I'm also scared shitless. I'm also standing there watching my brother go through this and being like, shit, now it's my fucking turn. And the guide's like, all right, I'll count for you too. And so he starts counting and he gets to 1. And I look down and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And he gets to 2 and I just make the tiniest jump off of the ledge. Like, just barely, like, basically I almost just step off. Because I was like, if I wait until 3, I won't do it. So I just impulse, like, stepped off the ledge. It was really fun. And I'm a little distracted because I'm also drawing, so it's a little harder for me to tell this story. But looking back, it is the funniest thing ever. Yes, I have seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I think I might have like told that story and then had someone be like, well, now we have to watch this movie. Looking back, it is hilarious to think about. Also, just to think about like the situation my mom was in where she was just like, my kids said they wanted to do this. It's risky, but it's safe enough. They're old enough. Let's do it. This is exciting. And then having to stand there on a dangerous ledge, talking her 5-year-old into jumping off of it with her. And then she also like just basically had to be assured that I would do it. Where she was just like, all right, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to take my 5-year-old. We're not going to die. I'm going to have to trust that my 11-year-old will not attempt to then climb down the cliff. I have to trust that she is smart enough to understand that it is too steep and she will die. I was just barely smart enough. I considered it very heavily. Yep. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little difficult to tell stories and draw at the same time when I'm shading. I forgot a little bit as to how like involved streaming and interacting with chat is, because I used to stream at the beginning of the pandemic, but I would stream very late at night. Go for it. Thanks for hanging out for so long. Thank you again for the tip, and thank you for joining Patreon. I will have new goodies for December out soon. I think you can already see the stuff that's there, so I hope you enjoy what is there. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I will probably be here, I think I said I'm gonna be here until 3. Yeah, I will be streaming until 3, so thank you. I used to stream back at like the beginning of the pandemic, and I would stream very late at night because I worked 3rd shift, and I didn't want to completely mess up my sleep schedule in case I had to go back to work. But so there were a lot fewer people, so chat was not as interactive. It was more just kind of like a thing to do while I was awake and to get some social interaction while I was trapped inside. And I did kind of forget like how much concentration it can take to interact with chat and draw at the same time. It's still fun. I still enjoy it, and talking to you guys is great. It's just more than I am used to. Okay, now that I have kind of done some base shading, by the way, this is, whoop, now she looks kind of human. I'm gonna turn it down though to like 75. Okay, I like building up a lot of layers of very light shading. That's what I do. Now, gonna move on to the inner ear. Okay. I'm gonna try not to clear my throat into the microphone, but I definitely like feel a little bit of a cough coming on. Oh no! Part of the liner is the wrong color! I can fix that. Ta-da! Fixed it. Nope. Whoops. Fixed it. Okay. 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 I think I fixed all of it. And I'm seeing another reason why I do shading the first parts of shading like layer by layer is because I can catch all of like the little spots that I missed. Like right here. Okay. Oh no. There we go. Like as soon as I get ready to like do something, I see another spot that I missed. Goodness. Okay. And then I'm I'm gonna switch this. Nope, I already have it switched to multiply. Awesome! Whoop. That was an accident. I didn't mean to just give you all whiplash just now. That was me hitting the little trash can I have under my desk. So what are everyone's holiday plans? Does anyone have any? I'm gonna go to my grandparents, see them and my extended family. I do need to go get my booster shot. I should do that soon. We're all vaccinated, and I think a lot of the people in my family already have their boosters, but I have not been able to get mine yet. Do they? Interesting. That's crazy. Maybe we should carpool. And just like that, her inner ear is done. Easy. Actually, I could probably like turn this down to 75. Let's turn it down to like 90. Yeah, I like that. We can like split gas. Yeah. Okay, even though the choker is tiny, there is some shading with it. Oh my goodness. I did terrible on this. Let me just clean up these ridiculous looking edges. Honest to God, I don't think I've said oh my goodness more in my life than on this stream. I don't know why, but for some reason my brain just goes into like work mode. Oh, my screen froze again? Okay. Give me just a minute. Let me just quick save. Okay. Oh, look. It's back again. Hooray! Hooray! Joy! Okay. Yes, the choker does need its own shading. But it's also tiny. So what I'm gonna do is I'm really just gonna do shading on the bells. Because those are gonna be the parts where you can see like the most shading and highlights. probably do more shading on them a little bit later. Oh, goodness. And there I did it again. I just go into like weird work mode when I stream sometimes, and so I say like, oh goodness, and weird shit like that. Kind of just clean up like a little bit this. I know that these tiny issues are like almost too small to even see, but they bother me. Ah, shit. I forgot that these are all on one layer. Okay. I think we're almost done with this oh so fun part of Ginger finding all of the parts that she missed. That I missed. I don't know why I started talking about myself in the third person. Ginger likes her children spicy. amazing. I have not seen a lot of Seinfeld. Like, I've seen enough of it to understand when other shows are referencing it. And I think I remember trying to watch it when I was younger, but my mom did not like sitcoms. So she was like, no. And to be fair, from what I understand, some of the jokes are not appropriate for like 6-year-olds, which is when I tried to watch it. But I'm just not a huge fan of Jerry Seinfeld and his humor, I guess. Maybe I should watch it. I don't know. Jerry Seinfeld's kind of an asshole. From what I've seen of him, his recent stuff. Really? Huh. I never would have pegged him for that. Okay. It's good to know. I went through a very long Frasier phase, and Frasier is not for everyone. But I have seen a lot of Frasier. I think I finally stopped watching Frasier when... I'm trying to think... Because I watched Frasier in college. I think I stopped watching Frasier right around when the whole Daisy and Frasier's brother thing became, or it was when Ross left. Roz, there, that was her name. Because I really liked her. I don't know, the show just kept it felt like they kept redoing the same plot over and over, and that's why I stopped watching the show. I forgot that the shading is supposed to be that way. I've seen all of Friends, and when I first watched it, I loved it. I've watched it a couple times since, and parts of it are very funny. And I understand why people like it, but at the same time, like, it's not accurate anymore. And I think that was like the big thing that Friends had, was it was supposed to be very much like what people were kind of going through at the time that it came out. And not a lot of other shows were doing that. But it's not true anymore. So I think it loses a little bit of it. Like Monica's obsession with being married before 30. Like, that was a normal thing that people could relate to, and it's not something that people really relate to anymore as much, at least. There are still some people who are obsessed with, like, getting married. It's a weird concept. It's also a really weird concept because the people who are usually obsessed with getting married, especially before a certain age, are women. And marriage was kind of a trading of property, and the property was the woman. I don't know. People like what they like. I did find out that Nick at Night is almost entirely like Friends reruns now, and I had no idea. And it's so weird to me that Nick at Night is just like, instead of playing like semi-mature shows or Avatar: The Last Airbender reruns, because that used to be on Nick at Night, it's just Friends. It's just tons of Friends. Which is, I guess, the most kind of like PG / but still kind of mature joke show that they can show on a kids network now. It's not like they can really show Rick and Morty on Nick at Night. I think that's Adult Swim. remember my first time ever watching Adult Swim. I was in high school. Because I just didn't stay up that late and watch a lot of like TV. By then we had Netflix, so I just binged watched Supernatural during the day. But I was really, really sick one night, and my dad let me stay up in the basement with him because I was like really sick. So he passed out on the couch, and I remember falling asleep at one point, and then I woke up to like this weird infomercial from this guy who was selling like knives and swords, and then it turned into like him fighting people with knives and swords, and it was like the weirdest infomercial ever, and it was like an Adult Swim skit at 3 in the morning. And I remember thinking it was the weirdest but also one of the coolest things ever, because I was also very sick, so like half deranged. I was like, I'd buy a knife from this guy. He's demonstrating how good it is at fighting those ninjas. That's the best commercial ever. Like it took me forever to realize that it was Adult Swim. I don't think I realized it until the next day when I brought it up to my dad, and he was like, oh, I must have left Adult Swim on, I'm sorry. Well, I've just taken the last drink of my coffee, and I am tired. Which is weird, because I slept a lot. I think I'm just hungry. Sometimes when I get hungry, my brain's just like, but you're tired. No, I think I'm hungry. Tired. Alright. Super concentration. I'm thinking that I might change this so it's a little, no. This is good for base shading for the hair, because I'm also gonna fade it out. Yeah. So I've been reading a lot of webcomics on Webtoon. And I'm not gonna lie, I usually go for like the high fantasy / romance ones. I've been reading some of their martial arts ones, because they just, like, every month they'll be like, this month on Webtoon, right? And they'll come out with like, or they'll advertise like popular comics or upcoming ones every month. So I'll always try and take a look at those. I usually base it, like, if I want to read it, based on art style. But there are actually a lot of comics that I've started reading that are like martial arts ones, and gaming ones with like no romance aspect, and it's actually really cool. There's one I started reading called Return of the Blossoming Blade. It's supposed to take place in China, and a lot of... I do read Let's Play. I really like that one. I started reading that one very early into it, like when it was much new. But also, hi Ventus! Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Hope you've been having a good weekend. How are you doing? I have to plug in my computer. Yes, I'm not up to date on Let's Play yet. Sometimes if I'm really into a series, I like to let it sit for a couple of weeks. So instead of just reading like one chapter every week and kind of having to re-immerse myself in the story, I'll wait like a month and then I'll read 4 chapters at once so that I can really get into it. So I'm not up to date on Let's Play. Please do not give me spoilers. I really like it though. And my pairing is working out, which is always nice. I really wanted them to get together. I just hope it works out. Oh, nice. Is Sunday your like chill day then? I really need to start actually exercising and also working out. What got me started reading on webtoons? I don't think it was Let's Play. Oh, it was Lore Olympus is what I started reading on webtoon, and it's their most popular comic now, and it's really great. Yes, that's also really good. They're a very good storyteller, and what I think is also really cool is the artist and writer were like, they're very integrated into the gaming culture already, because you'll see that with some of the comics on webtoon that are about video games where it's like, okay, they either have to kind of remake the entire video gaming world because they don't play online games, so they don't know like the jokes and how some things work, or it's just been so long since they've done it. But the writer and the artist, she's like a gamer herself, and she's very integrated in that, and she also does show mental illness in like a very real way, where it's like, this is how different people deal with different type of mental illness. Yeah, it is great. I would definitely recommend you give Lore Olympus a try. The artist and writer, she's kind of like he just needs so much love, and like so many bad things happen to him like at once, and it's just like every time they go into like a sad Marshall like bit, I'm like, he just needs like a safe space for hugs and like someone to motivate him, and he's trying, and I just And a lot of things, it also shows that like mental illness can be affected by the people that you care about in a negative way, even if they're not meaning to. Kind of like with Sam and Link, how like he thinks he likes her and he's not sure, and she's really scared of getting hurt, but she gives it a shot, and then it turns out that he's not attracted to her in the way that he thought, and while he didn't mean to, and like you can't blame him for it because you can't like force attraction like that, when he realizes he's not attracted to her like that, it's like yeah, and it hurt her and like hurt her confidence a lot, but also it really kind of confused Link and hurt him in a way, and the writing is really good. Yes, Vicky is one of my favorite characters. She's really pretty. But besides that, she's also very much like, she's a little less of the mom and more like the chill older sibling. So like, she sees the issues and she's like, I know you have to work through this on your own, but I'm gonna, like, if I see you struggling, I will try and give you the tools that I can to like work through it. I like Vicky a lot. Yes. They did resolve it well, but you could also kind of see how like it did cause some struggles like later on in their relationship, which was interesting. I can also kind of understand where I can't remember her name. Abe is cool. Abe is he's their guild leader, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. What other one was it? Oh, Lore Olympus is really good. Oh, I'm trying to because it's supposed to be about the gods and like follow the old myths, which she does in a very good way and bringing it to a much more modern context. And she gets a lot of the details right. Like the writer and artist, she did a ton of research. And part of it was she was like, I'm doing this for fun because I love Greek myth. And it was so cool. And also I love when artists and writers can do that and kind of make old literary myths and stories much more accessible to people in the modern era, because like people don't like reading old myths or like Shakespeare because it's hard to understand. It's not the way we talk anymore. It's got references to parts of the culture that we don't have anymore. And some of it is really funny and really interesting, and it does relate a lot to the modern era. And so if you can pull that back out in the right way while still remaining true to the source material, one, it takes a lot of time, effort, and intelligence and talent to be able to do that, and do it well, but also it kind of just, it humanizes the way that civilization used to be. It's no longer like this far off time when people were crazy and they thought gods ruled the weather. It was just like, they didn't know what was going on, and so they had these stories and based on the things that they experienced, and it's similar to some of the things we experience now. Like I think it's cool. That's my art rant. But definitely get into Lore Olympus. I could talk about Webtoon for hours. Thanks, Ventus. Thanks for hanging out. This was really great just to get to talk to you for a couple of minutes. I might definitely talk to you later about more Webtoon stuff because I don't know many other nerds who read on Webtoon. But yes, thank you for hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Bye! I've actually considered doing like fan art from certain Webtoons because I love them so much. I don't do a lot of fan art and I don't have a lot of time, so when I do get time to do art, I try to devote it to my own projects. Yeah. Yes, I've been doing some of the I like the really integral, like plot-driven webtoons. Some of them are really cool just because of like the art style and the writing style. Also, Webtoon is based in Korea, so it's very cool to see like that difference in culture, especially because a lot of the comics that are out there are usually either very American and Western or very Japanese. And I like exploring other cultures through like through their own medias. Rena24, hi! How are you doing this weekend? We're talking about Webtoon comics because that's what I like to do when I'm not streaming and I have any free time at all, is I'll read comics on Webtoon. Actually, reading comics on Webtoon got me to try cooking some like traditional Korean dishes and street food, and I found that my favorite food is tteokbokki. It's my favorite food in the world. I think about it all the time. My background screen used to be a very nice picture of tteokbokki that I made at home. Oh, it's so good. Oh, if I keep talking about it, I'm gonna cry because I haven't had it in forever and I really want some. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow, is when I'm cooking a bunch, I will also make tteokbokki. I don't make my own dashi broth, and I haven't been able to find like any. I usually go to like the local Korean market in the city near where I live to get most of my ingredients, but I haven't found like a good dashi broth. But right now, the past couple of days, I just finished Dating with a Tail yesterday, because they just did the season finale for that, and that was really good. My absolute favorites, probably the ones I've reread the most are The Tales from Those Around Me. Yes, Dating with a Tail was good. I started it yesterday and I finished it yesterday. I was like, oh my god, I just came in just in time where the season finale is. And what else? So Dating with a Tail, and then I also, yes, I did like the little the little like epilogue episodes that they did to kind of round it out. And like the little yes stories of those around me. I think the author is called like Omayo or something. They're my favorite on Webtoon. I read Tales of Those Around Me, and then they did another one called Salty Studio, and it was fantastic. And then they currently actually have like a featured Webtoon because those were just, yes, it was really sad. And I read it, I think I've read it like 3 or 4 times. The last time was the first time I didn't cry at the end. Usually I cry at like the end of every one of those short stories that they do in the Tales of Those Around Me. This was the first time I didn't cry at the ending one, and I was like a little proud of myself. I was like, I did it. Salty Studio. I don't cry every time for Salty Studio, but I love that one. But the artist now has like a featured Webtoon called When the Day Comes. So I've been following that one, and I love seeing the progress of their style too, because you can still see like the way that they color has remained very much the same, but and some of like their character designs, but they've like their line art and their brushstrokes have become much more clear and confident. I love them. I love them so much. You know, that's fair. It is very different from the Tales of Those Around Me, but I still liked it. I do like Tales of Those Around Me a little bit more, but I also think it's cool that like all 3 of their comics are in the same universe. So like, and the way that you can usually tell is there's usually at least 1 or 2 scenes where they're like, let's go to a cafe, and it's the Nothing Cafe from the Tales of Those Around Me, and I'm like, oh my god, they're there, it's there, and I'll like look for the other characters in the background. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. That one is my favorite. Okay, let's do this a little bit. I'm gonna take this one down to 75. Yes. That's fair. It does jump around a lot, especially at the beginning, and then it goes into like the other stories of some of the other characters a little bit. Especially like the teenagers. Yes. And it was a little confusing for me to follow when I first read it. Like there were a few times when I like went back and I was like, oh, okay, so this was referencing this and this. And I think that was them just experimenting a little bit with the writing style. Yeah. What are some of your other favorite webtoons? Reina? Am I pronouncing it right? Reina? I'm trying to think of other ones that I read besides like Lore Olympus and Let's Play, which we talked about, and those ones are really popular, so yes. Okay, awesome. I have not read Gourmet Hound. I've had that one recommended by Webtoon a couple of times. Something that I know is kind of really dumb for me is I will judge a comic a little bit at first based on its art style, and I was not super excited about what Gourmet Hound looked like, so I have not given that one a try. Is it good? I will take your recommendation. And, you know, I say that I'm not a fan of the style. Like, I'm not bashing on anyone, guys. They draw just fine. It's just not to my taste, which is fine. Easy. I have read... I'm trying to also kind of break away of that habit because I'll also do that with, like, published comics, too, where I will judge them a little bit based on the style, and I'll start reading a series if I like the style. Okay. I've heard really good things about it, and again, I'm trying to branch off from like judging things based on their style. So one of the ones that I read to try to get away from that was The Kiss Bet, and I really like that one. The Kiss Bet is pretty cute. I am a big fan of the main pairing where it's like the blonde bus boy and the main character, blonde subway boy, I'm sorry. And I am reading that entirely to hurt myself because I'm just waiting for it to happen. Like every time it almost happens, I'm just like, just do it. Yes, that I almost dropped it like a couple of times because I was like, this style just isn't what I want. And it was definitely like kind of the creator was making it before, like their skill in drawing had not yet caught up to their skill in writing. And you know, drawing is hard. It takes a lot of practice. Like, not their fault. It's perfectly okay. Ah, shit, I messed that up. But they've had a lot of improvement, and you can see their progress. And I really like seeing the progress. There are times when I'll like start a comic and I'll be like, oh, this is not the style. I don't like this style. And then I will like look through like the little thumbnails and the chapters and go to like the most recent one they posted. I'm like, do they get better? Is this an improvement? Or is this like a style that they've chosen that I just don't aesthetically like? And if they show like improvement or like they adjust the style and I'm like, okay, I can read this story because the story is good enough until the style like catches up to it. So I will do that sometimes. Like Laura Olympus was like that a little bit, like because she was working with the story, she wasn't working as much on her art, but now like the drawings are fantastic. It's still not a style that I would normally choose for something that I would read, but she does very well, and she plays with it very well for what she's doing. Drop this down to 75. I try not to go like super duper dark on the first shading. Okay, I think that's good. Yes. Oh, a really good one that's not romance, but that I did start reading that has a really nice art style is Return of the Blossoming Blade. Oh, just give me one moment. Yes. Yeah, I've had that issue. There was actually a, not a Webtoons, like, featured comic, but, like, Webtoon Canvas, right? That it was really good to start with, but they were definitely like, we've committed to doing this. This is gonna be the comic we do forever. And they just kind of, like, the characters, they stopped having character development, and it started just being the characters stuck. And they would try to like forward these plot lines that it was like, these just aren't good. And it was insecurity. That's what it was. I really liked it to start. It was really good to start. And even like some of like the other, like when they branched off from the main characters and they started developing the other ones around them, it was still really good until like, I want to say almost a year ago. And the art style is really good. Art is fantastic. I just don't agree with where they started going with the story, and it definitely seemed like they were kind of dragging it on. I'm gonna leave the thigh one actually darker than the others because it is kind of supposed to be like feathery. Yeah. And another is that kind of had that same issue with dragging on was okay. I feel like I started reading that one, but I can't quite remember. One of the ones that I stopped reading was True Beauty, because it definitely felt like, because it has like a clear kind of ending where in the beginning, because it's all like a time skip, right? In the beginning, she's like, I'm 21 and I have a fiance, right? And then we skip back to her like in high school, and we're supposed to see her develop through that. And it feels like they're just stuck in the middle now. They're like, I'm a really popular webtoon. I'm going to keep being a popular webtoon, and I'm just going to keep going. I don't want to get to the ending yet. And yeah. So. What was it though? It was, I want to fix this little bit of her skin. Like, True Beauty is a very beautifully done comic. And at first it spoke a lot to like the issue of, do you like a girl because of how she looks? Or should you like a girl because of what she looks like without her makeup? Like, and of course most people are like, well, you should love someone for their personality, but that's not the issue. The issue is you don't see a personality from across the room. Or if you do, it's usually a bad one. So it's kind of like that double standard of, well, people tell you you're just fine as you are, but they treat you differently if you look prettier. Anyway, I kind of stopped being true to that idea and was more like, well, now we're popular. I want to say that there was one that I stopped reading or started reading. Oh, The Blossoming Blade. That's what I was talking about. So it is a really good style. It's not romance, which is kind of nice because there are a lot of romance comics out there. But it reminds me very much of like almost a more modern version of the art style from like Ranma. Yeah, like I still have it saved to my like subscribed, and every time it updates I'm like, I could start reading it again, but I'm like, I don't know. Yes. So, yeah, Return of the Blossoming Blade is great. It reminds me a lot of Ranma 1/2, in the art style and in some of like the character interactions and in like the expressions that they make. Like the main character reminds me a lot of Ranma. It's just there's no like magic of the pools, of the springs that they would jump into, the hot springs. There's still like the idea of Kui and channeling that for martial arts, so there's like some magic to it, but it is much less than what Ranma 1/2 was. It's still good though. Oh, it's good. Trying to think of other ones. I was reading a lot of The Makeup Artist, which is again kind of supposed to be a piece on like what the makeup industry is and how it's connected to people's self-worth and all of that. And that was really good. Oh. Oh, thank you for the follow. But I really liked The Makeup Artist, but I just got so into it that like sometimes what'll happen is if I get really into like a book series or a comic series or even like a TV show, the anxieties that the main characters start to feel will start to make me feel anxious, so I'll get secondary. Oh, The Makeup Remover. Yes. That's what it was. The makeup remover. Thank you. So I had to stop reading it for a while because I would start to get anxious about like the plot, and I'd be like, oh no. And then I'm like, wait, this is not real. It's okay. I can put it down and I can breathe. But it was good. I would definitely recommend that one. The art style is something to get used to. But when the artist, because it's kind of like the artist is like, I think it's their first webcomic, so they do a little bit of a looser style, but then they'll have certain panels where it's like really important, so you can tell that they spent a lot of time on it and cleaned it up, and you can see the kind of like their true art style come through. And I do like comics that will do that sometimes, because I've done comics, and I had a short webcomic for a little while that I need to pick back up. But it's hard to draw super detailed and like consistently render every single panel all the time and do perfect line art all the time. So when I see artists that like they have a slightly looser style for the simpler interactions, and then they'll pull out like this gorgeous amount of detail, yeah. Yes, I will have a bit of that issue too, where I'm just like, oh no, this is bad. This person is just so bad. Oh, and that was a little bit of the makeup remover, because there's like one character that's like really good, like he seems like a really good guy, but he's not. Not giving away any spoilers, and that was the thing that was giving me so much anxiety. I was like, when is she gonna find out? What is he gonna do to her? Is she gonna be okay? Yeah, I got a little too into it. I'm definitely gonna try out Gourmet Hound though. I've just been kind of doing some lazy shading on this cat girl because she's supposed to be simpler and easier, and I'm gonna like fade this out. Yes. Yes. I do hope you like the Blossoming Blade one, because it's definitely very different from most of what I see on Webtoon, because Webtoon is very well known and very popular for its romance comics. I also like romance comics that know they're romance comics and will kind of like try to break away a little bit from the stereotypes. Like there's Romance 101. I've been reading that. I really like that one. And the main character, she's like oblivious, but she knows she's oblivious, and so she's not like the oblivious that's like, oh no, I need to be rescued. She's like oblivious, and she's just like has the best. It's hard to explain. She's just very lovable. It's hard to explain without giving away spoilers sometimes. Yes, I really love that one. That's one of the ones where I will like sit on it and wait a while so that I can have a lot of chapters to read all at once. That's something I kind of like, getting a little bit into a webtoon like a little late, because there'll be like 100 chapters that you can just read and binge through, and then you have to agonize over waiting, but that's what I like. That's one of the reasons why I have like so many subscribed too, because I will try to like I'll try to read one comic for a couple of weeks so that I can build up a buffer on the other ones and then get into them again. Yes. I also I keep shading goes this way. Okay. No, that's fair. No, Salty Studio is what got me. Salty Studio and what was it? The Tales of Those Around Me are what got me to eat tteokbokki, and I make that at home, and it's so good. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and go to the Korean market in the next few days and make the stuff for tteokbokki. Because I haven't had it in a while. And I need it now. Desperately in need. So good. I can't handle spicy food at all, but it's so delicious. Like, it hurts me to eat it, but I love it so much. And then I'll get like, because I'll also drink a bunch of milk with it because I have to. So, like, I will just be so full. I do not encourage this, and I don't do it often, but sometimes when food is so delicious, you eat so much that you feel like you're gonna throw up, but it tastes so good. That's how I am with tteokbokki. And then, like, as soon as, like, I stop feeling as sick, my brain's just like, we still have more leftover tteokbokki in the fridge. Go get it. And then I'll just keep eating it. That's why I make it very rarely. I really like the kind of like high fantasy, like political intrigue romance ones. So I've read a lot of Empress Remarried, which just started updating again. I read that. It's fantastic. I like reading Your Throne, which is really good, which is kind of like an anti-romance almost. Which makes like the little bits of romance that they put into it so good. What else? I just started reading called From a Knight to a Lady, which is also very good. Or My First Night with the Duke. Which one? Was it the Empress one or the From a Knight to a Lady? My First Night with the Duke is pretty great too. Oh, Your Throne? Yes. Oh my god. When I first started reading it, I was like, this seems pretty basic. Like, I was like, this doesn't seem very interesting. And then they started going deeper into it, and I was like, oh, I love this. I love this so much. I love it. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like every time there's like a major conflict in it, I'm like, she's gonna beat it somehow. I'm reading it to find out how she beats it. Or like things will start to go wrong and I'm like, this was part of her plan. I'm reading to see how it develops. Like, I am less reading it for the intrigue now. Now I'm reading it just to see what she does, and I love it. I love it so much. It is. Oh, it's so good. I really want to see, why can't I ever remember names when I need to? From Your Throne, she's the blonde one. She's like perfect. I can't remember her name, but she's like the really sweet one that everyone loves. Who's got the magic powers. I really want to see her like, no. Yes, because Demi is the main character. Psyche is the kind of damsel in distress. I really want to see her become an ultimate badass, because she's like getting there. She's getting really close. I'm waiting for her to just whip it out one day and just be like, I am also awesome. And I'm like, yes, develop that way. Because we're seeing her do that, like, slowly. And I can't wait to see it, like, all put together. Oh, look. There we go. I also like reading some of like the going through Webtoon Canvas and finding like some of the fun ones that are short or already completed and they're not featured, but they're still really good. Like, I mean, that's how I found the Tales of Those Around Me. But you can find some other really good ones that way too. I'm just gonna hop on over here. Switch this to multiply. I know I should probably make this like smaller than 10, but it's okay. Okay, so that is something I have to fix really quick. Oh no. Oh no, those should. Okay. Oh, okay. Did I totally fuck up this one? Yes, I did. Okay, there we go. That. Now. Okay, there we go. I'm almost done with some of this shading. Hooray! And then I can do the bigger shading. Shading never stops. That's the answer. Oh no! Okay. I'm gonna just not do that. Okay. Because this is like supposed to be metal, I'm gonna leave this as slightly harsher shading, but I will tone it down just a little bit. Let's tone it down a little bit more. There we go. You know what, I will blend it a little bit. Okay, that's better. Okay. Now onto the socks. I just wanted to see how she looked with the black liner. I kind of like both. Okay. Just quick save. Okay. Talking about Tteokbokki has made me very hungry. Am I gonna have leftovers for dinner? Yes. Will they be I'm sorry, for lunch? It's almost dinner time. Nope. Okay, I really have to stop humming that song. Oh my god. Like, the more I try not to, the more it gets stuck in my head. Sorry. The microphone doesn't pick up all of the sounds around me, but whenever apparently I crack my fingers, it has to. I wonder if it sounds like gunshots. Sorry if it does. super concentration. No, I'm just getting really hungry, so I'm kind of running out of things to say, except for how hungry I am. I did not take a break to eat in between the stream, and this is the first time in a while that I've done a 4-hour stream. I should eat. I know I said I'd go until 3, but I am really feeling the call of the food. The call of the hangry. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stop here for now, guys. I know I'm ending a little earlier than I said I would, but I am starving, and I really need to eat. I don't know if there will be a stream later tonight. Probably not, but there will be one tomorrow morning. Thank you to everyone who came to hang out. Thank you, Tryhard, Reina, Ventus. Let me go through, hang on. Gakko, and Fixer, and everyone for hanging out in chat. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, even if you didn't have time to hang out in chat. I hope to see you guys again soon, and I will definitely be taking a look at Gourmet Hound. I've got some reading to do. And yeah, this has been fun. Thanks, guys. Okay, bye.